Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.
Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. We are here at the bar, and we got a great live for you tonight, special live for you tonight. First and foremost, this show is brought to you by Abu Garcia, the makers of great rods and reels. Speaking of Abu Garcia, Ike Series 3.0 rods and reels available right here, guys. Head over to Tackle Warehouse. Check them out. It's a really, really nice line of rods and reels. This is also brought to you by the Ike Foundation. We're going to be talking about the Ike Foundation a little bit. We had some great experiences at the Classic. You want to get more kids fishing, head on over to the ikefoundation.org. Guys, I hope you're doing great. It's a Monday. I want to start by saying that Becky and I are extremely tired. Monday, what would you call it? The Monday. Yeah, so we got in from the Classic last night, really late, probably 10, 11 o'clock or whatever. And it was, I'm going to say this, and of course, let me remind you, if you're watching, we want to hear from you. We're seeing great people check in. Paul, Bill, our homie Bill, Jason, Jig Squad. A lot of guys checking in with us right now. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, if you're watching live over there, thank you for watching. But I'm going to say this, and I'm sure that the screen's going to light up here, but I really believe, having fished the Classic and having worked the Classic, that working the Classic is much more exhausting than fishing the Classic. It really is. It's a lot of work. Well, for us, it's a lot of work. So
it's the same tired for me no matter
it's
what.
the same tired for Becky no matter what. It changes for me a little bit.
Did I get a shout out on Fox?
You got a shout out on Fox. Yo, Fox.
Did you say something about me?
Yeah, I said you're a fox. But here's the other part to that before we really start diving into tonight's show, is that Becky's sick. Becky got sick. So when you're shaking hands and you're meeting people and you're hugging people, and you're going to get sick. And that's that. I mean, you use the shit for your hands and you're still going to get sick.
I call it the crash and burn.
The crash and burn.
I usually don't get sick.
Yeah.
But like, I felt tired yesterday, and then I woke up this morning and I was tired. And I knew I probably should have just gone back to bed after I got the kids to school, but there was so much to do.
Yeah.
And then by 4 o'clock, I was like, yeah, I feel like shit.
JJ Toyota said, Becky's so hot. Man, you look good tonight. Damn, you looking good. A lot of comments for Beck tonight. I like that.
I haven't showered. Apparently it looks good on me.
Looks good. The grease looks good. All right, so
I got off the couch, made dinner and a whiskey.
Yeah, so
whiskey kills everything.
Right. So on that note, it is a Monday, so I don't expect anybody to go raging hard. If you want to rage, you can rage tonight. You know what I mean? But the drinks for tonight, Becky, hold yours up again. She just mentioned it, but whiskey, whiskey and Coke, or straight whiskey, or what do you got?
No, I made an old fashioned.
Old fashioned. Okay, Becky drinking an old fashioned.
I'm not even a whiskey drinker unless I'm sick.
All right, so she's trying to use the whiskey to kill the sickness. And I'm going, man, you are getting a lot of comments tonight. I like that. Brian, what's up? Beer of the night for me, Wicked Weed, and it's Pernicious IPA. Did I say that right? Pernicious? How do I say that?
Pernicious.
Pernicious IPA, Wicked Weed, which I believe is in Asheville, North Carolina. Is that correct?
And I said shout out to Mike Breeding.
Shout out to Mike Breeding. Mike Breeding, good buddy of mine from up in Pennsylvania, smallmouth expert. Mike Breeding turned me on to that. So Wicked Weed is the beer tonight.
Full can.
Extremely.
This is what happened the last time.
Extremely good beer. Be careful when you open it. But
carbonated.
Extremely good beer. Pernicious IPA. Pernicious. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. All right. You know how this works, guys. We're gonna start throwing topics up there for you that we want to talk about. How's my hair look tonight? It looks pretty bad. We want to throw some topics up there tonight, and we want to hear from you. Please, we're already looking at the comments, but comment, because
we're going to try to touch a lot of subjects really fast.
We're going to go through a lot of subjects here, but listen, we want to hear from you because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And when we let you know what we're feeling, it's just our opinion. That's just us. So everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I really want to hear from you guys on some of these
and that's why it's so much fun, because listen, like, we come at it from a different perspective, just kind of being in the trenches on some of this stuff, you know, and being at events and being from the angler or the wife side. So, but we need to know what you guys think. Like, it's key that we all have different. It is key. It is key.
It's America, so we want to hear different opinions.
America.
First one, I want to start. I think chronological order is the right way to do it. So we want to start with the start of the season, and real quick, let me just sprinkle this in there so I make sure that you know how I feel about it. I didn't have a great start. It wasn't terrible, the two Florida tournaments for me, but it wasn't good. It was well below average, and I'm pissed off. But in saying that, I won practice. I did not do good in either event. But in saying that, I got out of Florida without any bombs. So I'm happy about that. And I need a good tournament in the next one to turn it around. So that's my own performance. But I think
whoever has the voodoo doll that's like poking him on
everybody,
please stop.
Yeah, everybody. But I think that the topic that I want to talk about for the start of the season, that includes MLF, NPFL, and of course the Bass Elites. I want to start on the topic of DQs, aka disqualifications, happening in the first couple events. I do have a note here. One at the St. John's on the Bassmaster Elites. One at Lake Okeechobee for the Bassmaster Elites. And one at Santee Cooper for the NPFL. Okay, so let's start tonight with disqualifications. It's so it's so insane that to me that we went so long. When I say so long, like the last 5 years, it seems like there were hardly any disqualifications. And if there was, it was for that day, or it was a penalty, you know, they have to launch late or something like that. And then all of a sudden, 2 DQs, Bass back to back, one at MPFL for the entire tournament, disqualified for the entire tournament. So I want to know what you guys think. Becky, start with you. What do you think? I know you're sick, but what do you think? I'm in pain.
I could talk to, I'm going to try to be as abbreviated as possible. This is a tough one because, listen, there has been stuff going on, and I think people have kind of been yelling for years, like, we got to get this reined in a bit. And I'm not saying the tournament organizations are wrong or right. I'm just telling you that, like, I think things got so out of control that they had to rein it in. But then it's almost like our government. We go like extreme one way, then extreme the other way, where I wish we could find this happy in between.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I don't know what that means. I don't know how you do that. I do think that there definitely needed to be enforcement.
Yeah.
I do think that it's very hard though. Like, you know, from everything I've seen with like Matt, it's like, man, some of that stuff's super tough because you just like talk to a family member or like someone says something, like you have to cut them off. And that's what we're all supposed to do. And I agree with that part. You try to, you know what I mean? You try to squash those conversations. They happen sometimes. You try to squash the conversations.
Yeah.
The part that I'm so weird about is the self-reporting.
Yeah.
The whole self-reporting, or everyone has to run to Bass. Like Bass's phones must be blowing up.
Yeah.
Like Lisa must be like, oh, okay, Jimmy said don't use a worm by the riprap. You know what I mean? Like
a live worm.
Because now
under
it's
a bobber.
Almost like everybody who's like scared is like, oh my God, I gotta tell every little thing that I overheard at the, you know what I mean? So like that is too, like this is like ridiculous. Like it's like you're with like a bunch of toddlers almost, because it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't have answers, and I'm not very clear and concise right now. Maybe I'll write up a nice report on my thoughts when I feel better, but I feel like it's screwy. The other thing that blows my mind too, and this is just my own personal opinion, like what place was Matt Herron in? He wasn't he in like the 40s?
He was 40 something, 43rd.
So whatever, it doesn't matter.
Second.
Why are we polygraphing someone in the 40s? If they
it's random. It's random.
I get that it's random, but couldn't we probably polygraph randomly people who are higher up? Because if you like cheated and you were in the 40s, and you probably didn't do a great job with the information you got.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah.
So again, it's like,
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. So I did
feel like you could fine tune some.
Yeah, I did want to check with a few comments real quick. Jig Squad basically said Bass is getting inconsistent. They're getting out of hand. Tanner said the DQs are getting out of hand. And then Donald asked what the DQs were for. And if anybody's watching, listening right now and not aware, they were all information infractions. Rule infractions based on obtaining information in an illegal way. Okay, so that's a good way. I want to jump in, and I did get a chance to talk to Matt Herron personally about his situation. I did not talk to Scott Martin or the fellow that was DQ'd at the NPFL, but I want to say this, that I think that there should be rules in place. They should be backed by a system to enforce those rules. But the problem lies when the rules are gray, okay? The rules are gray. So, you know, like the Matt Herron situation, you know, he called me and said, you know, look, you know, a buddy of mine called me. You know, he said he sort of didn't realize what was happening until it was already said. Then he said something, the guy stopped, and that was that. When he went and took the polygraph, he was not feeling good. He was on medication for back pain. There's all these things, and it has the potential to lead to false positives in the test. So, you know, again, was Matt 100% in the wrong? Was he intentionally breaking the law, the rule? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. So it was gray. Scott Martin's situation, maybe a little different, but still, did he solicit the information? There's a little bit of gray there. And then the other one I do want to hit on, guys, and this one didn't even get a polygraph because it is what he said on live. And again, I apologize for not knowing his name, but a fella was doing really good the first day, had a camera boat on him the second day. And basically on live, the camera guy live is recording him, says, man, I wonder how my buddy's doing. You know, his buddy he travels with, it's his really good friend. And he kind of just, not jokingly, but just kind of playfully said, hey, I wonder how my buddy's doing. And I don't think there was malice there either. I don't think there was ill intent in that. I don't think he was trying to acquire information. And NPFL caught wind of that happening on live, and they DQ'd him from the whole tournament. So I think, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of gray area, and that is a problem. That is a problem for sure.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. What is there's really a great solution for any of these tournament organizations? Like, they have to basically draw a line and then stick with it. And so what they choose, how they choose to handle it. Before it was a little, and now it's like very firm.
Yeah.
You know what? I did see the Seth Fighter with Mercer interview.
Yeah.
And one of the best things that he said that made me so happy was
single day DQ. Okay, I'll mention it.
Was that, and I'm paraphrasing, so I'm sorry if I totally slaughter this, but he basically was like, anyone who reads the rules is a cheater. And I was like, But
anyone, Seth Fighter said, anyone that reads the rules is a cheater.
But wait, but I liked the way he said that, because then he said, because Mercer was like, well, wait. And he's like, we all know the rules.
Right.
It's 5 fish. This is how big they have to be, and don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
go
play fair.
Yeah.
So he's like, now if you have a question about something specific, you might go in to read the rules to look for it. But he's like, anyone who's reading it like front to back is looking for the gray area.
Right. Here's the thing though, and I want to say this real quick while people are commenting. And I had Daniel commented and said the NPFL disqualification was only for a single day. So excuse me, I apologize. I do want to mention that there's a fine line between being a dick to a fan and trying to acquire information. Like if you pull up at a gas station to get gas and you're getting gas, hey, man, you're my favorite guy. Man, I love watching you. I've been watching you for years. Dude, they are mowing down a white swim jig on the lily pads. What? Man, I'm sorry. I can't get any info. Sorry about that. Am I in the wrong? You know, and again, I'm trying to be nice to the guy. I'm trying to be.
Supposed to call Lisa?
Am I supposed to call Lisa? Like, what is the protocol there? So I say that example. I said that example because there is a lot of gray, and the intent is the hard thing to police.
Yeah, we can leave it at that.
The intent is the hard thing to police, because if you have intent and you're trying to backdoor the rule to get info and beat the other guys, that deserves disqualification. But if it's an accident or it's a mistake or it's playful like the NPFL, I don't think that should be a DQ, man. I don't think that should be a DQ. I'm sorry. And I did also want to say that I question, and you're going to hear more about this in my Dirty 30 series. We're going to be talking about this at the end of the show. But I do have experience with polygraphs and polygraph professionals that I feel like over the years have been unqualified. Whether it's the person, whether it's the equipment, whether it's how they're administering the test, even to where they're administering the test, the conditions, the environment of the room.
You know what I would do if I had my own tournament organization?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a polygraph. I would get that truth serum stuff
Truth serum
from the FBI. Just shoot them right in the ass.
Shoot them in the ass with truth serum.
And then they'd have to.
I would use the Wonder Woman lasso, the lasso of truth.
Yes.
I'd be lassoing people so right up on the neck.
The neck. She does the wrist.
Oh, the wrist. I'd be really lassoing them on the wrist with the Wonder Woman. Okay. I think there's some good comments coming in here, guys.
But I do think, but just like kind of how our world has shifted, so have the people who fish. And back in the day. Yeah,
real quick. Chad says any rule that's unenforceable should not be a rule. And that came from Chad. Chad, that's a great point. You know, Tom says Becky's hammered. You hammered off of one. She only had one whiskey. If she's hammered off one whiskey, she's lightweight. Yeah. So
waterboard. Yes.
Yeah. So
God, we could come up with so many.
Yeah. So some great comments coming through, and I've seen a few other ones that basically said,
"What's the new Elite Wives rule?" I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
For us?
I don't
Oh,
know.
am I not allowed to talk bad?
Oh, you're not allowed to talk bad?
Is that
I don't
the
know.
Elite Wives rule?
Oh, yeah, probably. That's Trade Zaldane rule, probably. We're not talking bad. Again, listen, guys, if you think we're talking bad, we're not. This is honestly our opinion, and we're not talking bad about anybody. We're just trying to flush out what's going on.
But listen,
in this crazy world.
there's always been people who, listen, are not very honest or whatever, but I have to be honest. I don't think there were as many back in the day, or maybe there were, I was unaware.
Yeah.
But I think that as the economy shifts, as it is so much more expensive to be a part of anything, especially in sport where, you know, like, yes, I know we're not paying as much to play, but it's expensive to be out there, guys. I'm just being brutally honest. You've got a lot of, you know, younger guys. Back in the day, people usually became financially established and then they came out. We have so many more younger people. There's so much more on the line.
Yeah.
There's a lot more desperation to succeed or do well.
Yeah. Charles.
I think more of this has been created, more desperation, more like need, like they have to do well.
Yeah.
I think the dynamics have shifted.
I got one other thing that I want to throw out there to you guys before we get on to the next topic, and that is, and I'm going to tiptoe around this one, guys. I'm going to tiptoe around this one, is that in the first event at the St. Johns River, I was protested on the first practice day, after the first practice day. The second practice day, I heard my phone go off. I looked, and it was Lisa, the tournament director, with a text. Basically said, "Did you fish in Lake? What was that lake I fished? Dexter. Did you fish in Lake Dexter yesterday evening?" I said, "Yes." "Did you? We had a protest come in that you ran a no wake manatee zone." And I got back and said, "I fished Dexter, but I didn't run a no wake zone. Like, I kind of know Dexter. I've been fishing there for a while. I know what's where." So I said, "I did not." And then that was it. She said, "Well, we'll get more information and we'll get back to you." And it was eating at me because, you know, like, I'm like, did I, you know, and like, in that thought of, man, did I do something wrong? You know, no intention, right? Not an ounce of intention, but did I accidentally? I don't know. It ate at me so much. The third day of practice, I wanted to go back there and look. Didn't see a sign. Didn't see a buoy. Looked at my phone with the information that was sent. I didn't see an area that I ran. But the funny thing is, I knew who protested me. And that night, that first night on Dexter, I came off pad, idled up to some lily pads to flip some pads. And when I did that, I see this boat get on pad, like probably a quarter mile away, and come like literally bum rushing up to me, comes off a pad, probably about 100 yards from me. And I'm like, I look out there. I recognize the guy. I'm not going to say his name. I recognize the guy. And I'm like, hey, it's first turn of the year. Haven't seen him all year. Haven't seen him since last summer. Hey. Doesn't wave back. Thought, that was weird. Idles past me, looking at me, just looking at me. I waved, no wave back. I didn't even think about it. But then I started to connect the dots. Here's what I want to tell you. By the way, I was not disqualified. I didn't break a rule. Lisa looked into it. I was in the good. But what I wanted to say here is, what has happened to people? What has happened to people being nice, people being friendly, people being, you know, like involved in the good of other people and not the malice, not hating on other people, not trying to destroy other people, to hurt other people. Like, okay, if he thought I ran a no wake, if he thought I was in a manatee zone, just fucking come over and tell me. Just idle over and be like, hey, Mike, I know it's not really clear here, but this area here is a manatee zone. So, next time, if you're going to go through there, don't run that area, okay? Thanks, man. I never knew. Thank you. Thank you. You're a good guy. What the hell happened to that? Why the fuck are people so angry? And why do they want to kill everything? It's on social media. It's rampant through Bass. And I experienced that. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it that happened.
Because if you don't report, then you're in trouble.
So by the rule.
But I did teach my son. I had a conversation with him after the whole thing happened. I said, "You take the heat then for not you."
Yeah.
You help someone else.
So technically, when you read the fine print, if you don't report an infraction, you're guilty or you're in trouble. Guys, listen. I'm not saying, again, intent, malice, right? If something happens and the guy doesn't know, he's unaware, help the guy. Don't hurt the guy. I'm from Jersey. I don't know. Becky and I grew up in a different world. But we ain't going to rat somebody out for something that we don't know if it was bad or good or didn't know. We're not ratting nobody out. I ain't doing it. So I did want to mention that. That turned into a lot longer thing that I wanted to. I will not say the guy's name. The guy's going to hear this podcast. Very disappointed in the guy. Thought he was a friend. He is not a friend. And that's what the world has turned into, guys. Not everywhere, because look at this podcast tonight. We got great people on this podcast.
Yeah, so no.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
I know snitches
but
get stitches.
Snitches get stitches.
That way.
If you're from Jersey, that's how you're raised. But anyway, guys,
we have inflatable rats outside buildings if people don't.
Yeah, we got inflatable rats. All right.
That's part of the union.
All right. I'm going on. We need a name. I'm not giving you a name. I want to go on, guys. Let's change the topics here. We're approaching 700 people. I appreciate you guys. It's a Monday, and you guys are on here drinking with Becky and I. Yes, Monday.
Whiskey when you're sick.
Are
we gonna go into the classic?
We're gonna go into classic real quick. This
Hi,
one's
Bridget.
This one's real quick, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on who won the first part of this tournament year. And when I say that, if you've been watching Bassmaster Elites, MFL Bass Pro Tour, or NPFL, who do you feel like won the beginning of the year? The first 2-3 events, most of these leagues. NPFL's only had one, but Bass has had two, and the Classic. MLF have had, I think, two.
What do you mean? Who do you think won?
How do you feel about how? No, not who won, not the anglers, but what league? What organization is winning with the way they're handling the sport? And I want to say that because MLF with Bass Pro Tour started a 1-period forward-facing sonar. You could pick whichever period you want. The other two, fishing, not hunting, fishing.
Yeah, I like that. It's fun because there's strategy. Because you did that tournament in Italy where you had to do it that way.
It was an hour there. It was even a little shorter, but
kind of cool.
NPFL, total ban on forward-facing sonar. So I know it was aggressive. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on who you thought. I want to give you mine, and then I see a lot of NPFL. I see a few MLFs coming through. I want to give you my thoughts real quick. I love the format change at Bass Pro Tour. Listen, I'm not a giant fan of some of the guys over there running that league. You know that. I think that was genius, and I love the format change at the MLF Bass Pro Tour. I love it. More strategy. You generally don't see it dominated the whole time by forward facing. It doesn't become a 1.5 pound tournament. Everybody's catching a little 1.5 pound. I love it. It made it more interesting, and it made those periods, period 1, 2, 3, it made the periods make sense. The periods didn't make sense before. Now they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, and then I want to hear what you guys are saying. Second, NPFL, I thought it was genius to get rid of forward facing in the position they were in. I love the guys, the participation increase from big name guys that went over there. Everyone that I talked to, every one of them that I know from the elites that went over there loved it. My only problem, and I want to love the NPFL the most, but the coverage, the production and coverage is so bad. Guys, please, NPFL, if you're listening or watching, please get better at the production, because the snippets that I saw live when it wasn't like breaking up or it wasn't cut off or I couldn't log on, when I actually watched it, dude, I loved it. I could feel the energy. The guys were talking, big fish hook sets. Like it made me happy. So in my opinion, clear winners this year, MLF, NPFL, clear winners. And I think Bass is not necessarily a loser, but not necessarily a winner. Just kind of flat. That's my opinion.
So
that's my opinion.
I know there's clearly our demographics, bunch of old guys on here. Everyone's all forward-facing sonar hating. So I'm going to mess with all of you a little bit. Listen, there's a lot of stuff when I was younger that I loved that older folks than I were so against. And so I don't want to be that person. And not that I love forward-facing sonar, but I think we have to find room for it somewhere.
Yeah.
And I say that partially too because I have a 14-year-old who wants to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that you have to have room. And we have this conversation a lot, and it's and we kind of joke. I call them the Nepo babies, but
Nepo.
But look at the kids who have come up raised by professional anglers. Right or wrong, I'm not saying they're the best, but what I'm saying is they were raised by anglers every single day, probably on the water nonstop, and they were forced to learn every technique there is.
Right.
Mike does it with Vegas. Like, he has to learn a chatterbait. If he's not comfortable with a crankbait, then you know what? The next couple weeks, you're only allowed to throw a crankbait until you fully figure it out, this, that, the other.
Right.
So these kids have learned every single technique, but they're also younger, so they learn forward-facing sonar. So it's fun to watch some of these kids, like Marty Robinson's son, win, you know, a tournament, because listen, he's not just a forward-facing sonar kid. He's a kid that grew up fishing. He can fish. He can catch them, but he can also do forward-facing sonar. So like we have to be able to do both. There has to be room for both, in my opinion. I love that NPFL took that stance, and now there's so much room for these guys that don't want anything to do with it, and they can go there.
Yep.
I love that MLF said, listen, one period, you can use it. You don't even have to use it.
They both changed, though. They both changed, right?
Yes.
They both looked at it and said, forward facing is obviously an issue to some people. Let's meet in the middle. That's what MLF said. And NPFL said, let's get rid of it. So they did something. Bass didn't do anything.
Yeah. In my magical, mystical mind, I really thought that Bass was going to say, okay, half these tournaments,
they should have done that.
You can't use it at all.
They should have done that.
And they didn't. I think they thought.
They should have done that.
Again, the disconnect, because I don't feel like they communicate with us well, is that they thought they put us on bodies of water that you wouldn't use it. Well, guess what? You can freaking use it anywhere. I mean, Vegas can use it in freaking 2 foot of water, like in a creek back
if
here.
you're allowed to use it, it's 2 different derbs.
So
that's pretty much.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but I feel like we can't hate on it because it is the future.
Right.
The technology exists and these kids know it, but we have to force the young people to know how to fish everything.
We gotta find a little common ground. We gotta find a little common ground. That's all. That's all. All right.
And let's move on.
All right, let's keep going. I don't want to turn into FFS live here.
He doesn't like when I talk too much.
Let's change topics, guys. And by the way, great comments coming in on. I saw a nice mix of NPFL wins, MLF wins, and Bass wins. Nice mix between the three. So all 3 leagues are doing their thing. I want to move to the Bassmaster Classic. Becky and I just returned late last night. If you were in the beginning of this podcast, you heard it. Late last night, we're tired. Becky's probably sick. She's drinking whiskey over here. But that is the biggest event in the world. And I don't care what you say. Red crest, this, that, red breast, whatever. There will never be another Bassmaster Classic. It is hands down the biggest event ever. I want to tell you.
I do want to touch one thing because somebody brought this up.
Okay.
And I've seen a handful of comments, and I saw these comments on Bass's post too. And all these people are like, "Oh, there's no one in the stands when Easton won." Listen, you guys, those weigh-ins are so effing long that when you know who the winner is, people leave. Like they don't stay to watch you go around.
I don't know about that.
Those stands were empty. They were not empty. But listen, by the time they take the pictures of him riding in the boat around, people don't stay to watch that.
All right. Well, let's start with this.
So I don't want to dismiss the fact that people ran out the door because he won. That kid won.
All right. Before we get into that, let me say really quick that when you don't make the Classic, you have to do all the other things, and a lot of the other things are great. It was so great meeting a lot of people at the Bassmaster Classic. Like, it's the reason that I'm still doing this 30 years later. Like, the stories, the people you meet, the inspirational things that they say, the kids, the babies, like that is why. So we met some great people. We got to fish a celebrity tournament with Billy Strings. I got to fish with my friend Billy. That was so fun. We didn't do any good, but it was very fun.
They didn't even want to let him go out there. The waves
were big. That was fun. Of course, the Ike Foundation has a lot of things going on at the Classic. We do the Flambeau tackle box giveaway every day. Yeah. We get to get kids excited about fishing. We did the tournament at the park there in Fort Worth. Amazing turnout. 100 kids come out. A lot of them never fished before. And trust me, I can tell. A lot of them never fished before. So that was great.
It was awesome.
And
Texas Parks and
Texas Parks. Shout out to Texas. Shout out to those guys that
Flambeau,
supported
everyone that supported.
Yes.
Abu sent 100 Ike Dude rods for all these kids. It was awesome.
But here's what I want to tell you is the highlight of my Bassmaster Classic, hands down, without a doubt. And some of you are going to hear this and you're going to think I'm bullshitting, and this is true. Becky and I went to the Ray Scott musical.
Oh, this is
the Ray Scott musical on Thursday night. It was called Dreamcatcher. Is that correct? Dreamcatcher.
Well, it wasn't the Dream Killer. It was the Catcher.
Dreamcatcher. And it was a musical about the life of Ray Scott and the beginning of Bass, how he started Bass and how it all happened. Guys, I haven't been to a musical since Cats. Cats. You remember Cats back in the day? I think I was at Cats was the last musical. Or Wicked. Maybe it was Wicked.
Hold on. So listen, Mike said we're going to this musical.
Yeah.
Not exactly my genre of entertainment.
Musical.
But I'm like, okay, let's go. Ray Scott. We even went shopping. We got some fringe and boots.
We dressed like Ray Scott.
We were ready to be Ray Scott.
Had the cowboy hat, had the boots, all that. But we sat down for this play, and probably about 2 hours, I would say, 2 hour play with a little intermission.
I think it was like 45.
Yeah, 45. Guys, the best play I've ever seen. 9.5 out of 10, guys, this play. I cried. I laughed. I was excited. I was on the edge of my seat.
Okay, so listen. So just to give you the brief synopsis, it is the Ray Scott story.
Ray Scott story.
And they did it in like this very historical fashion. Like the names were right, that like how it all happened. But they did it in such a fun, campy way that it was like, God, the humor.
It was so funny.
The first song was about insurance. I mean,
it was so funny.
And you were kind of like, wait, are we laughing? Because this is so ridiculous. Like, it was So fun, so funny.
Yeah.
It was great, but it truly told the story. But in like we were all
Yeah.
rolling. We were rolling. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. Of course, they did serve alcohol there. So we had some beer bottles rolling under the chairs at the theater. But it was so good. I literally cried in laughter and joy. It was that good. So I invite I had heard it was going to play in Tulsa as well.
I think so.
So
shout out to Ken Duke though, because didn't Ken find it?
Ken found it. Shout out to our friend Ken Duke. Shout out to Brian the Carpenter. They're the guys that really told us about it. And it was a great, great play. I encourage everybody to go see it if you can, or maybe they'll have it online if you can catch it on YouTube or something. It was stunning. All right, now let's get back to. I did want to circle back, and Beck, you already started it, but I do want to mention that the comments about the Classic this year were unbelievably horrible.
People are mean.
They were so, and here's the thing. Some of them may have been true. Some of them maybe weren't as true. But again, these are people's opinions. So if it's your honest opinion and there's no malice, then you should give your opinion.
But give your opinion to who you're upset with about something. Maybe like Bass, if you didn't like the way something was happening. But good God, people, these posts were about Easton winning the Classic.
Well, that one,
22-year-old guy who literally had brain surgery, won all this stuff, wins the Classic. Let him have that victory. He is someone's child. That is someone's like. Come on.
That one I didn't agree with. So I saw negative comments about the Classic on the forward facing. I saw it on the coverage. I saw it about the commentating. I saw a lot of negative comments, but Becky's right. The comments about the champ, about Easton winning and how he won.
He won fair and square.
He won fair and square, guys. And he's a stick. Trust me. So,
dude, he caught an 8-pounder with like 30 minutes
with like 30 minutes to go. That was the winning fish, right? Like
he lost by 2 ounces if he hadn't caught an 8-pounder.
It reminds me of my win.
Who's caught an 8-pounder?
It reminds me of my win. It reminds me of Takahiro's win, last minute heroics. And listen, he did nothing wrong by using forward facing, because as long as they're going to allow it to be in play, if it's legal and he's good at it, then use it, right? So I don't like the hate for his win. I think his win, the Bassmaster Classic's tough to win. I don't care if it was the first one and they were just using the first plastic worms back in the late 70s or now, everything in between. If you win the Classic, man, you've worked your ass off and you've done something amazing. So congrats to the Classic champ. He did a great job. And, you know, I do want to say this, though, to Easton. And I don't know if I'm sure Easton's not watching this, but maybe it will get back to him. Besides the amazing job you did, it was just wonderful. The next part kicks in right now. As soon as you win the Classic, as soon as you hoist that trophy, I remember, guys, it was a long time ago, but I remember, you are put into a unique position that you could accept or you could decline, right? And that is that for the next 12 months, for the next year, you're the champion of the world and you have a chance to impact people. You have a chance to impact people. You have a chance to impact how the sport is seen, how the sport is viewed. What, you know, you're in
an incredible story.
He has a great story. He has a great story. And please, Easton, if you're watching, take on this responsibility, this other side of the business side, the marketing, the promotion. Yeah. Take it and run with it. It's such an amazing blessing to have that. And, you know, there's been Classic champs in the past. Takahiro Mori that won the Classic and they took the trophy. And I remember I talked to that Classic champ and I said, congratulations, you're going to change the world. You're an international champion. I just want to fish. I just want to fish, Mike. No. Snag the cop in the back. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to take on that responsibility. Easton, please take this and run with it. Now, let me say this. Let me say this to you. Easton, it's going to be your responsibility more than it should be to take this opportunity. Guys, when I won the Classic, the opportunities were thrown at me through Bass. The current owners of the owners at the time was ESPN. They were throwing the opportunities at me. Newspaper, radio, TV, magazine, travel, shows, publicity, commercials, everything. The world was there. In addition, I'm smart enough to know I hired a publicist immediately. I hired a publicist in Washington, D.C. immediately to help me with this, to help me get the word out, to reach people, to have an impact. So unfortunately for Easton, you're going to have to do a lot of this yourself.
Well, you just made about $350,000, if not more, with other sponsor money.
Made good money.
Take 10 grand. Take 10 grand and
hire someone
because you'll double that.
Hire someone.
Spend the money, you'll double it. Make a name for yourself.
Call
Bass once a week and say, "What you doing for me? Who have you called?"
They're not going to do anything.
I would call them still.
They're not going to do anything.
I would still call them. I'm a stalker. I would be like, "What you got? What you got?" But honestly,
Easton, invest in it, because the Classic win is short from the standpoint of that initial bang. But if you want to be in it 10, 15, 20, 30 years, if you want to be in it 30 years, Easton, invest in that win and reach people and have a positive impact on people.
Create your brand, your legacy.
I don't know Easton that well, but he seems like such a great guy, and that story is so amazing. Have an impact on people, please. I beg you. So that's that. Call Pro Edge. Call Pro. Pro Edge is not business anymore.
And Pro Edge say, go get a publicist.
Go get a publicist. All right.
But he's tired.
So there's my thoughts on the Classic. Was it perfect? No. Was it the most arena-filled, packed Classic? No. It's whatever. But Easton's win was amazing, and congratulations to him. All right, guys, we're approaching about the 10-minute mark. I want to say thank you, guys. The comments coming in, we're hovering around 700, 800 people. The comments coming in are so great and diverse, and they should be. Guys, don't feel bad about your opinions. They're your opinions. Yeah. You're entitled to those opinions, okay?
We won't beat you up over it.
We won't beat you up.
We might argue with you about it.
And cheers to everybody watching on a Monday night, having a beer or a cocktail or whatever you're drinking with us. All right, guys, the last topic, and you saw me show the hat there, but the last topic I did want to talk about.
Can I say one thing?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I honestly, I don't know the numbers, so I can't tell you if it was like totally packed or empty or whatever. But the one thing that I did notice at this Classic that I hadn't seen as much in the last couple of years, Friday, no, because kids are in school, but Saturday, Sunday, there were so many kids. There were so many kids at that expo.
That's good. See, that's a positive.
And I'm telling you, that is what we need. That is what we need to see, because if we want to keep the sport going, if we want to get the next generation in, and not to be professional anglers, but like just in the outdoors,
just get them involved in fishing.
Just showing them all these things. There were so many kids, and that's the first time I've seen.
That's good.
We were like, we ran out of tackle boxes.
Yeah, we did. We gave a lot of tackle boxes away. All right, guys. Last topic of the night. Want to switch it up right here. The Dirty 30. It is my 30th year. Had some people talk to me at the Classic. It is not my 30th year fishing the Bassmaster Elites. My first year of fishing the Bassmaster, back then it was the top 150, was 1999. but I fished my first professional event when I started this whole journey was 1995. And that does make it 30 years. So guys, I'm very, very happy. I'm very proud, very honored to have been doing this for 30 years. It's been unbelievable. It doesn't feel like 30, but it's been such a good journey. The good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the pretty, the ugly. A lot of you watching tonight have been on the journey with me the entire 30 years, and you know the roller coaster that it's been. But I would not trade anything to go back and do it different. I would not trade anything. I love the way it happened. I love the story. I love what's transpired in those 30 years. So to commemorate that, and a lot of you watching already know we announced this, but we are documenting this 30th year, and we're calling it the Dirty 30. And we're going to basically have a lot of cool stuff to commemorate my 30th year. The big one, guys, is
the hat on his head.
The hat on my head. We got hats and we got shirts. I'm wearing old school vests at the tournaments, and
we'll have the hats up this
we're
week.
going to have the hats, limited edition.
Classic.
We only made 100 of them. We're going to have them up for sale. But in addition to the memorabilia, we are documenting this season through video. And I cannot wait. Guys, I can't wait for you to hear the stories and see the reality of professional fishing. The Dirty 30 name, little hidden meaning there. Dirty 30, of course, 30-pound bag. It's called the Dirty 30. But we are giving the dirt away, guys. And the dirt of professional fishing, which is the travel, the ups, the downs, the stories. And it's not censored like some other new projects out there. This is not censored. Nobody is owning this. Nobody's supporting this, but us.
Yeah, this is not a pretty edited, like
it's
he went
not,
out on the water. This is like what it's actually like.
This is
to be
a
on
real life story. So I cannot wait for you to see this.
Poor Eric is following.
Yeah, we got a great camera guy, Eric the intern, good friend of ours, filming this year with us. He's a great storyteller, beautiful with film. But we're going to premiere the Dirty 30 series on April 1st. What is that day, Beck? Do you know the day? What is
April 1st?
Oh, no, what day is it?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, April 1st will be the premiere of the Dirty 30 series. And guys, I got to tell you, it's going to be good. These are going to be 20 to 25 minute long episodes. And you're not only going to see that event and the story of that event, but you're also going to see stories, good, bad, controversial.
It is April Fool's Day, but this is actually happening.
This is happening. You're going to see stories incorporated into each episode. Little confessionals in each one, giving the goods, giving the dirt on the reality of the sport. And just to let you know, and I'm not trying to get too Jerry Springer here on you guys, but I'm giving naming names, putting blame on blame, putting blame on people, like all of it. It's not all bad. There's a lot of good too, but we're going to look at the 30 years of fishing, and it's been a hell of a ride. So I'm going to take you on that ride with me. So April 1st, Tuesday, the premiere of Dirty 30. We're going to start at the St. John's. The very next week, Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah.
And then you'll see these episodes a couple weeks after each tournament. You're going to see the episode air. So we're going to try
on
to
our YouTube channel.
On YouTube
we'll have
channel
the
as well.
All over social.
It'll be on
It'll
YouTube
come
as
out
well.
on YouTube.
Yep.
There was also a small 14-year-old dancer on the other side of the camera.
Oh yeah, Vegas was in here bouncing around. That's why Becky's laughing, or she was laughing at me. So, so guys, I'm excited about the Dirty 30. Can't wait for you to see the series. This is going to be I've never in 30 years, I've never had anybody follow me on the tournament trail. Honestly, it's been an interesting experience. It's been a unique experience, but I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm glad I'm doing it, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So very, 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 very excited. Vegas, you want to make a cameo real quick here, and then you got to get to bed.
Yeah, what you think you're doing, you're not doing. Come on.
No. See, he's trying to do something. He's trying to do something else at what time is it? 9:30 to 10.
Turn video games on. No.
9:30 at night. All right, we're gonna let Vegas make a little cameo here.
2 seconds to say hi. And then we're gonna taser you out of the room.
So the hats, I see Dave chiming in. Dave, the hats will be on the website this week. Also, Robert Allen says, sounds like a retirement tour. Could be not. Could be not.
Do you think I need him living in my house?
Joseph Walker says Easton never gave up. Joseph, that's true.
Yeah.
Love the last minute fish catch from Easton. Dirty 30 this year just keeps getting better. I love it. Vegas is looking for shorties. I don't think he's doing that. Not right now. He's probably doing that at school. The kayak build, I see someone chime in. Guys, if you were watching, we're so excited to have partnered with a new kayak company. And we are fishing with Wilderness Systems this year. We're actually doing 2 different builds this year. We're documenting the whole build. It's going to be awesome. If you're watching this and you like kayak fish or tiny boat fish, you're going to love it. But we're building out a river kayak. We're going to build out a Recon by Wilderness Systems. And then we're building out a mean green tournament machine called a Tactical 128. And we're literally, guys, Wednesday, I'm going to start building one of them out. So it's going to be fun. You know, of course, Newport's going on the kayaks, Newport Motors. Of course, Pro Guide batteries. Of course,
Sean, we're selling the Hobies.
Of course, Lowrance Electronics, and of course, Power Poles have gone on all these rigs. Yeah, and Sean, definitely no shame in saying that I had a great run with Hobie. I still like Hobie. I still think Hobie's a great kayak. There's no negativity toward Hobie, but we will be selling the Hobie fleet. So if you're watching this, or if you're going to watch this later, if you're not live right now listening to this, keep your eye out on our social accounts and the Facebook pages. And we are unloading the Hobie fleet. They will all go bye-bye. All right, Vegas, come in here. Want to say hello real quick? Got a little cameo appearance before he goes to bed.
And DJ Kevin asked, Stella is fine. The ankle is all better.
Yeah, Stella's doing great with her ankle. Okay. We got Vegas the Hammer. Vegas the Hammer, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
All right, Vegas, tell everyone watching. We've got about 650 people or so watching. Tell everybody what you have.
He's my mini-me.
What they look alike. They have very similar characteristics. Vegas, tell everybody what you have coming up this Saturday.
Bass Nation tournament.
First tournament of the year for Vegas the Hammer, Bass Nation event. Very excited for you. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a cold event. Are you prepared? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's ready. Also, Vegas, before you go to bed, let everybody know you just started a Facebook account. Is that correct? All right. Where can they find you? What's the account?
Vegas Iaconelli.
Vegas Iaconelli, aka Vegas the Hammer. Look that up on Facebook. Follow Vegas. He's already got an Instagram page. Yeah. You like doing content, you like filming and all that stuff. It's fun, right?
A little bit.
If you want to see how he did last year on Cranberry, because the first event's on Cranberry, you can check out
the big fall.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a great video. Y'all should go check it out on YouTube. It's on Mike's page. I was the boat captain. Vegas fell in. I dropped the net.
Disaster.
The pump wasn't working.
All right, Vegas, before we go, do you want to say anything to anybody? You want to shout out any of your sponsors or anything? Or what do you got?
Newport, Molex, Polino, Stefano, thank you for the box.
Yeah. Who'd you say?
Tackle Warehouse. Yeah, then maybe I Foundation.
I'm not sure. All right, good job. All right, go to bed, Vegas. All right,
hey,
there you have it.
She probably came in upstairs.
All right, there you have it, guys. Vegas the Hammer. We are right at the 1 hour mark, 1 hour, 1 minute. Guys, I cannot thank you enough for watching tonight with us. It's a Monday. Sometimes it's hard to come down to the bar and drink on a Monday. It's not hard for me. I like beer, and Becky likes whiskey. So we appreciate you joining us for tonight's show. It was so much fun. I want to remind you that these podcasts, the regular Ike Lives and, of course, the Ike Lives at the bar, are brought to you by Abu Garcia, the maker of great rods and reels. Head over to abugarcia.com, or better yet, get the brand new Ike Series 3.0 at Tackle Warehouse. It's available right now, guys. A lot of models, a lot of different ratios, all that stuff. Also brought to you by the IkeFoundation.org. I saw many people chiming in tonight on how important it is to get kids fishing, to get the youth involved in the outdoors. If you want to help, I don't care where you live, Alabama, Florida, California, Canada, wherever you're at, go to the IkeFoundation.org. We got info over there on how you could help get new kids fishing. Also, just a last minute reminder, the Dirty 30 Ike apparel. We're going to have hats, sweatshirts, long sleeves, short sleeves, all that. You're going to see that showing up in the next couple weeks. I think this week the hats will show up over on the website and social pages. Do we have anything else, Beck, before we go?
I don't think so.
I think that's it. Guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to hang with you guys and have a beer with you. And until the next one, I hope that you're having a good night. I did want to mention that I did want to mention that Fred Romanis, Freddie Boom Boom, will come in and join us on a regular Ike Live. I'm actually going to text Freddie tonight. I'm hoping we can get Fred. Sorry about that. I'm hoping we can get Fred on the show in the next week. So definitely look forward to Freddie Boom Boom coming on the show, and
let us know who else.
Let us know who else. Just leave some notes in the comments here and let us know who else you would like to see on the show. Thank you guys for joining us.
Do you fish for excitement? Do you fish for passion? Do you fish to get outside? Or do you fish to win? Abu Garcia for life.
You know, right now where we're standing, we're in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is right there. This is the concrete jungle. And, you know, a lot of those kids, as they grow up, they don't fish. It's interesting because they're surrounded by water. You know, the Delaware River, the Schuylkill, ponds, city park lakes. But they don't have the influence to cast, to fish, to have a rod and reel. And that became our focus, you know, is to target kids in what we call non-traditional areas, you know, urban areas, city centers, where the population's high, and let these kids have an experience. You know, it's amazing. I mean, some of the experiences we've had, whether it's Central Park in New York City, here in Camden, other parts of the country, even just casting.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to see it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
And you know, you see these kids have this experience they've never had, and they light up, you know? The big thing, I think, for the Ike Foundation is we're not saying we want all these kids to become professional anglers.
Yeah.
It'd be great if some of them did, but we want them to have that fishing experience because it ties them to so many other positive things. The outdoors, nature, conservation. Ecology, you know, all these amazing things in life that maybe they wouldn't have been exposed to any other way. We're trying to help with that. So it's important. It's important for us. We're proud of it.
I subscribe to Bass U TV, and so should you. Great place to learn about anything you want to know about bass fishing.
You get it at Bass U.
We got the best of the best.
I'm not just an instructor, I'm a subscriber.
I'm John Cruz, and I am a subscriber.
You can always learn, and watching Bass U is definitely helps with that. It's something that I like to do, and it's definitely something that you need to do.
If I'm still learning, you should be too.
Subscribe to Bass U because you'll learn how to catch a lot more fish.
Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.